Hi, this is Cheryl with Peace and Power Movement Services. And I wanted to talk a little bit about an unconscious habit that I think a lot of us have about when we're trying to succeed in something. When we first try to do it, um, it's about the way that we try. So the thing that I've really noticed working with myself and working with my clients is that the way people often approach our first attempt to try is that we literally set ourselves up to the way that we try sets us up to fail. And so, what does that look like? It's like we'll go to do something, and it's almost like we set up an anticipation of failing. So, we'll hold our breath, we'll get tighter, we'll sort of focus down or concentrate because we're not sure we can do it, and so we're trying. And this kind of way of organizing ourselves to try literally sets us up to be less likely to succeed. And so, when I think about like an everyday task that kind of fits this mode for me, it's taking the shopping cart out of the long line of shopping carts. And so inevitably, right, you go to grab it and you pull, right? I pull on it and it comes or it doesn't come. And so if it doesn't work, with that effort, I've probably held my breath, I've grabbed it and I'm pulling it firmly. What do? I do it harder, right? I do it more. And it's a really good example of this way that we tighten ourselves and we try to force the outcome, force the successful movement. um, it's just what we're conditioned to do, that we have a sense that to try something, especially something new or something we're not sure about the outcome of, we set ourselves up to try hard to make that effort. And so the problem this really sets up, I'm noticing, is especially with my clients, as we age, this way of approaching trying doesn't really, it increasingly doesn't serve us well. And, we can really learn to age differently if we can unwind and replace an unconscious habit like this trying with something else. And so what is that something else? So one of the things I do with folks is to really help them learn from their movement in a very particular way. And you've probably heard, sort of the saying, like, fail stands for first attempt in learning. And I've often heard it in my coaching space about, sort of some kind of self-acceptance, some kind of self-acknowledgement that it's okay to fail, like just taking ourselves, you know give yourselves a break about what we're trying to do and that we can't be perfect from the get-go. But this to me is another symptom of this kind of conditioning that wraps us up in this unconscious habit that we have, that somehow we expect we should be able to succeed perfectly off the get-go, sets us up in this kind of unconscious habit that if that doesn't happen, we've got to make it happen. And so a lot of what I do, in the various ways I work with people, is to help them to sense more clearly, to perceive what's happening both within themselves and in their environment, so they can learn through their movement. So that first attempt in learning, or that fail, is actually a sensory rich learning environment, a learning experience. And so if we go back to the example of the shopping cart, when coming to pull it, to do that first test to see, will it just come out? Or is there some kind of thing I can sense about how it is possible for it to move? And so when I think about my last shopping trip, it was a combination of a little bit of an up and a little bit of an out that actually brought the shopping cart out. And so being able to sense what's happening and where the possibilities lie in the movement creates a much easier experience, lots less yanking, And if you think about applying this kind of approach to every kind of activity you do, way easier on your body, and doesn't do the kind of wear and tear that over years really start to accumulate, and that we, I think, associate as the inevitable part of aging. And so I'd like to suggest that working with some of these kinds of conditioned unconscious habits of movement can really change the trajectory and the path of what aging feels like. So, and this is the kind of work that I do with people, is to help them sense themselves and their movement, help them develop their own kind of organic capacity to learn from their movement, so that they can continually learn, can detect and sense what will help lead them to successful movement, so that they can really move, towards wellness, towards wholeness, and not so much towards wearing out. That sense that that's just an inevitable part of aging, to me, is the cumulative assumption that comes from doing this kind of unconscious habit of trying over and over and over through your lifetime. So I hope you've enjoyed this little foray into how we can kind of interrupt and up level some unconscious habits of movement. Feel free to check out my website, because I've got more information available, and other videos here on YouTube. If you like this, please subscribe and share with your friends. Have a great day. Bye.